here created the DVRT Ultimate Sandbag System, and we're in Tokyo, Japan. Super excited about it, and best of all, I get to be around some really awesome coaches. So today I'm here with DVRT Master Travis Johnson. Travis, so awesome to have you.
Thank you, Josh. Awesome to have you here.
And Travis is owner of Kinetic Coast out here in Japan, and also the Synergy facility. We're at his awesome facility here, and we were talking about different strategies that help people move better. We were talking about squatting, but squatting is still one of those things that people want to pull their hair out. I used to have hair many years ago. So you were talking to me some interesting ideas that you had about things that people miss a lot of times when they're coaching the squat.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many things to look at when you squat, and it's such a fundamental movement pattern. I think everyone really spends a lot of time working on it. One thing I actually noticed over the years is that we spend a lot of time looking at, basically the hip musculature to try to prevent knees from going valgus and that type of thing, and trying to get the squat to align. Well, obviously that's really, really important. However, another thing I started noticing is that people in my facility that were not really squatting very well also weren't really very successful at tall kneeling. What do I mean by not successful at tall kneeling? I mean is that their feet position, they couldn't really hold their feet straight. Their ankles were always these kind of wonky angles and things. They couldn't really kind of get, up on the ball of their foot and everything, and really hold that nice even position there, their foot and ankle, and obviously the lower leg alignment as they're doing a tall kneeling. And I was wondering how that really related to squatting to a certain degree. And I found that if I could get them to get in that tall kneeling position a little bit better, manually kind of mess with them a little bit, and do some drills, some of the great DVRT drills like the press outs, around the worlds and things like that, they actually started squatting better really, really rapidly by kind of focusing on that foot and ankle lower leg musculature from a very different position. Not just kind of looking at it from upright, but let's go kneeling and see what we kind of tweak out there, and again, moving better that way.
And I know from my experience, having torn up my ankles and feet in basketball for 13 years, that it's such a hindrance, having that problem area. So what Travis and Connor are going to do in a moment is they're going to show you some of their favorite DVRT drills, how to coach it, what you're looking for. So if you employ these drills, you'll actually improve people's squat without actually squatting. That's going to be the cool part. So stay tuned as Travis and Connor are taking you through some really cool DVRT progressions to help you and your clients squat better.
All right, so as everyone knows, when we set up for the tall kneeling, one of the things we're obviously looking for is a nice plank here, sideways looking for the body here. What sometimes gets overlooked a little bit, I think, is looking at people's lower leg position and their foot and ankle. And this is what I was talking about previously, about how that kind of relates to basically people not being able to squat really, really well. One of the things we really want to look for is actually that the sole or foot is like flat facing straight backwards. I've noticed a lot of times that people that squat really, really poorly, they kind of get like this for some reason. I don't know if you can quite see this in the angle, but the sole or foot is actually facing back towards me this way, rather than facing straight back behind her like that. So we definitely want to get that real straight. We want to get up on the ball of foot, and then I can even kind of mess with her a little bit to make sure she gets some activation of that lower leg by pressing here on the heels, pushing those in and forcing that out. And oddly enough, you'll see when you do this with people, they'll feel actually their glutes pretty damn strongly. There's a very interesting connection there. So get some pressure there and get that locked in, and then we can go ahead and do the press out. So go ahead and grab your bag there if you don't mind. Get that set, and we'll just do a couple reps here to show people. So again, I'm really checking her foot and ankle more than anything else. Obviously, I want to keep track of the glutes and everything like that. I want to make sure the ribs are not flaring. I want to make sure this is all looking good, but I don't want to neglect what's going on here, because ultimately I think if I can get this a little bit more solid in conjunction with the rest of her body, I can get her squatting a little bit better as well. Okay, so after we've done the press out a little bit, if we progress then into around the world, it's actually going to put a little bit more of a stability demand on her body. As she moves the weight around her, she's actually has to stabilize in more planes. And this is where you're actually going to start seeing people kind of start breaking down here again. Their ankles are going to start going funky directions. They might actually pop off their toe or something like that if this demand is quite high. And that's where I'm going to really be checking, making sure that she's keeping this straight. The back of her foot is facing straight back, sole of her foot is facing straight back as she does this exercise. So can you grab that, and maybe we'll just do one on each side just to show things out. Do around the world. Yeah. Go and grab those, that's good. Okay. All right, so nice around the world. Go ahead and pause there. And so then I'm pause at the top, take a nice deep breath, exhale, make sure the ribs are down. But again, watching these here, and I might even mess with her here a little bit, press on the sides. Go ahead and finish that lift there, all the way around. Okay, and let's go back to the other direction. And again, I'm still kind of here, a little more pressure here. Fight, fight, fight. There you go. And still make sure the soles of the feet are facing straight back. Okay, nice. Great job. So obviously, once you get the tall kneeling going really, really well, and their foot mechanics are looking good there, we can progress into half kneeling, and we're going to work on the same thing. Now, You can do a lot of different drills from this half kneeling. Obviously, we can do more around the worlds, we can do other press outs. I'm just going to have her do a straight press up, vertical press, so you can see that. But again, what I'm really concerned is, can she still keep this foot lined up well? Can she keep some activation there? If I mess with that press on here, can she stabilize against that while she's moving the rest of her body and keeping herself upright? And that good posture through her trunk, and obviously that good stability there through her hips. And then I think once we do this, we'll be able to look at the squat, what we'll do next, and see her squats clean up quite a bit. Okay, so now we're going to have her do a bear hug squat, and keeping with this theme of looking at the foot and ankle position, I'm going to actually cue her a little bit to think about kind of rotating through her lower leg here to get her knee out, rather than just trying to push out from the knee here or push out through the hips, to actually think about spinning this. It's almost like have her kind of squeeze the floor with her feet this way and try to do that, but obviously her feet are not going to move. What that's going to do is just pull her arch up and get her lower leg to kind of rotate out a little bit. And she'll get a little more clearance through here, and then she can drop down nice and deep in that squat. And I found using that progression, looking at people's tall kneeling, foot and ankle position, and looking at half kneeling and building that up and getting up into the squat, that you really can make quite a bit of improvement. It's a different way to attack things than just looking at the hip musculature like we often do.